Are all of the injuries on Cleveland's side catching up to them? Is LeBron spent trying to make up for the absence of Kyrie Irving and the absence of Kevin Love and injuries to other guys like Shumpert as well? Or was it a case last night, at least, of Golden State just having a better plan, playing LeBron differently?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of both, but I noticed that they just didn't look like they had that same energy. The crowd was excited. They jumped out to a 7-0 lead, and it just seemed LeBron just didn't have that major aggression that he had in Game 3. I mean, it just seemed like they were different. Dellavedova didn't look right. I mean, the only one who looked, even close to form was Mozgov, who was tremendous, who's been tremendous in the series, and just lends to why the Nuggets trade him for. Let's see what they do with those first-round picks they get. But Mozgov was the only one who played as he looked like himself. The rest of the guys were just exhausted. And I think this is kind of LeBron's fault in the sense of he's the one who wanted to get James Jones and Sean Marion and Mike Miller and all these old guys from Miami, and they've done nothing. They haven't. James Jones is the only one who's really made any contributions. Mike Miller and Sean Marion aren't in the rotation. Kendrick Perkins not in the rotation. So you fill your roster with all these old guys who are supposed to come through and play, in playoff games, and they're not able to. They're not in the rotation. So Cleveland's got to figure something out because this is their roster, and David Blatt's playing 7 players, and you just can't do that when the other team's playing 10. I mean, you're gonna get tired.
Yeah, and Gary, it also didn't help that Shumpert, J.R. Smith, and Dellavedova went a combined 7 for 35 from the field. LeBron needs more help than that, doesn't he?
Of course. I mean, J.R. Smith, you guys know from his Denver days. I mean, he's still perplexing. He's not. It's never going to change about him. I mean, it's not showing up. He showed up for one game in the playoffs, the big game he had against Atlanta in Game 1, I believe, the Eastern Conference Finals. But other than that, this is JR. I mean, he's got all these skills. I look at him and I go, wow, how good could this guy be if his head was right? If he took the game seriously, if he was focused, if his mind was there, how good could this guy be?
Oh, yeah. Gary, I used to say about JR when we watched him every night that I thought he was one of the 10 best athletes in the NBA. He had, the old saying, $1 million athletic ability, 10-cent head.
Exactly. I mean, you look at he's 6'6", 6'7". He can dribble. He can play defense when he wants to, but he doesn't want to. He only wants to shoot threes because he basically said earlier during the playoffs, when you're my stage of my career, you only do what you're good at. So that's his thing, shooting threes, and he's good at missing threes in this series. So, yeah, they need help. I mean, Shumpert is not an offensive player. Dellavedova, you're banking on Matthew Dellavedova now. I mean, this is sort of an issue with how Cleveland compiled their roster. They didn't get a capable backup point guard other than Dellavedova. They've got a bunch of old guys on the end of the bench, so there's no one to save them. Someone's going to have to step up besides LeBron.